So I decided to do a race again. I was not sure if to do a race. I was thinking maybe just do like a Zone 2 ride or something. But I did Zone 2 yesterday and then I had a day off before, so I thought probably okay to do another race and see how it goes. I can get some more points, and you know, these races for me, I seem to be able to finish quite high. Again, like, starts are just so much better now for me. I just remember doing these starts before and my heart rate would be really high on them, and this one I couldn't believe actually, like my heart rate, even, I guess, you know, it's only pushing for like a really short time. Maybe I had to push harder for longer before, but you know, heart rate doesn't get up at all, just because they just seem to slow down actually quite quickly. So a short, you know, bit of acceleration and, you know, straight back to a kind of slow pace here. So really a lot of this ride seemed fairly slow with the pace actually, but you'll see it with this course. It's quite an interesting one because you got the Legsnapper KOM, so that's always an interesting one where people do kind of get spread out and, you know, form separate groups. So I've gone forward to the Legsnapper, and you can see we're all still in a big group. I don't know if anyone really been dropped at this point. We seem like just still in a group here. And I remember this always being really a difficult short climb. It's not, you know, it is a fairly short climb, but it's fairly steep and people go pretty hard on it. So I find I really do have to push on this, and I kind of think I prefer the slightly longer climbs where I can just kind of sit in like a VO2 max kind of zone, and I don't like having to go above that because it's just so much hard work. And one thing I find, I'm maybe a bit slow on the start of these climbs, and I let people get too far ahead, and then I have to push really hard to try and stay with the front pack. So I think here I'm trying to, you know, not get too far behind in the pack, and then really push towards the end and try and catch up, which is what I can usually do. I'm fairly light, so just putting a bit of power out, I can usually catch people up on these climbs. So after the Legsnapper, kind of formed a small group at the front here, and I think you know, we were a bit split. We had you know, you can see there's a bunch of people, you know, 3 to 5 seconds behind, and then the rest are kind of, you know, more than 12 seconds behind. So we had still a bit of a group here even after the first climb. So I just kind of wanted to sit here and recover, and I'm quite happy just cruising along. There's no point me trying to get ahead here anyway, so I just kind of stay with the pack for a while. So a little further on, one of the guys had just pulled away just on the flat, and he just went quite hard, and he managed to get like a nice 8-second gap. We're just kind of cruising along, and I think he's not really getting any further ahead. And then, as you see, another guy has just decided he's not going to let that guy get away, and he's made a break for it as well to try and catch him. And I think at this point, I was thinking perhaps I can try and push in and catch those two, because I know otherwise this pack's just going to they're going to be too slow. They're not really pushing that hard, and I'm thinking, we've really got to catch up at this point. Or, maybe if I push, maybe these other guys are going to try and come along with me and start pushing a bit harder. So I wanted to pick up the pace and really try and catch these two up, and so I put a bit of effort in here. So even though we pushed, the guys behind kind of kept up, and I think the two in front just seemed to slow down here, and we just managed to catch up quite easily at this point. So we formed another nice little group. A few people came with me. We got ahead, and now we've got a nice gap between us and a group behind, which is nice, coming up to this KOM again. So I was thinking, if we can push again here and just stay well ahead of that group, we've got just a small pack there. So hopefully when we get to the end of the race, maybe at least if I can not out sprint them, I'm going to have a nice high finish. I'm going to finish maybe third or fourth, or even if a couple of people look out sprint me, as my sprint's not very good. So on this KOM I was just trying to again push hard and stay with this group. I just don't want to get dropped at this point. So we stayed as a group the whole lap, nothing much happened. We just kind of kept pushing, and we got a nice gap between us and the group behind. They're now like over 25 seconds behind, so it was just about really pushing up this Legsnapper again and trying to keep with this group. At least I knew even if I got dropped here, I'm going to have a good finish, and if I can keep up with these guys and see what happens at the finish with the final sprint. So this guy kind of pushed really hard there and got ahead, but then he just kind of lost all his momentum at the end here, and I overtake him to get a nice time up the Legsnapper. I didn't realise at the time, but got I think a personal best up there, but nice time there, beating everybody up there. Just kind of kept my pace, but coming back down this hill, I think somebody just, I don't know, they gained a load of momentum, and a couple of guys kind of push ahead of me here. So those two guys you saw, they just got a nice gap. They kept pushing, got well ahead. But now I had these two guys I had to beat, so if I could beat one of them, that would be good. Sometimes, one of these guys will just not really push, I guess, and they won't really care about their position. So I kind of pushed ahead of this guy just when I tried to go already. I knew he'd be right behind me, so it's hard for me to sprint for very long. I'm already quite tired at this point. And there you go, just as I said, my sprint's not very good. I just haven't worked it out yet, my technique and everything, and I just feel so tired by the end of these races. I just feel like I just haven't got the energy. My legs have gone from that leg snapper. But not the hardest race overall. The rest of the race was fairly easy. It's just that one leg snapper really, it does break your legs. But yeah, it was a fun race and gained some more points. So getting closer and closer to being promoted to the group above, which will be interesting. It might be too difficult, but we'll see what happens.